Hey guys, it's Greg. In this video I want to show you Agemonia, which is now on Kickstarter. Agemonia is a story-driven cooperative game which was in development for 20 years. So finally we can see what authors prepared for us, and we had an opportunity to play demo. It was 3 scenarios, tutorial scenarios introducing few mechanics, the very basic mechanics. So I don't know what we can find in the final version of the game. I just have a feeling what to expect from this game, and I can say you now that the Agemonia feels and looks like something amazing. We loved every hour with this game, because even it was 3 scenarios, it took us, I think, 3 or 4 hours to beat them. But without further ado, let me show you what you can expect from Agemonia and what highlights we would like to share with you guys. The 3 demo scenarios we played are of course just a tiny bit of the whole game, but what we experienced playing them is a promise of the most immersive game. We have heroes with rich and a little bit wicked backgrounds, a mystery to unfold, and the world weird and twisted and yet charming, magical and captivating. The game's lore is so rich that every, even the tiniest event is engaging. Storytelling is so good thanks to the really good writing, and if Agemonia can keep the pace with every scenario in the final game, that it could become an unquestionable leader when it comes to narration in board games. Those 3 scenarios we played were tutorial scenarios, so the first one was really basic, and the other 2 introduced some new mechanics, but not all of them. Each scenario has its own deck of cards, which players are going to trigger by walking on specific locations or launching some kind of event by their actions. Each card is double-sided with a beautiful drawing related to the event, person or thing players are going to face, and drawings on the cards are unique most of the time. That gives an impression of an interactive comic or book, where crucial moments of the gameplay are beautifully illustrated. And believe me, there's a lot of those cards. And our heroes, far from being obvious, each with its own troubling past, desires and motives. Each character has its own background, and it's mandatory to read them all before you will start the game. It's amazing that we have so complex personas, each with its own characterology. Demo of Agemonia also teased us with specific hero-related events, items and quests. Don't want to say more, but what we saw suggests that Agemonia can be a completely different game depending on who you choose as your character. It's actually hard to not fall for each of the heroes, not only because of their story, but also because their part in the current plot, their thematic skills, and because of their unusual design. David's hero was Venya, who is fulfilling the quest given by the skull of her dead grandmother. I do not want to spoil anything, but if you are bored with obvious plots, heroes and NPCs, the world of Agemonia is your answer. Agemonia takes the best mechanics we all know from other story-driven dungeon crawler games, mixes them together, and serves us the gameplay easy to learn, understand and enjoy. Forget about weird, non-intuitive mechanics and complicated algorithm of enemies' movement. We have dice for tests, and we can mitigate bad rolls. We have simple mechanics of initiative, where the actions of characters and monsters have their own symbols. At the beginning of each round, we need to draw an initiative card to see who is first, and so on, based on those symbols. We have a book with maps for every scenario, so forget about the long setup using tiles. I think that invention of the book with locations and using this in campaign games should be a golden standard. And finally, we have those cards which can change the map by overlaying some parts of the map or introducing new mechanics. Agemonia in some way reminds us of Etherfields, where cards were also the core mechanic, changing the scope of the game, but here is definitely more user-friendly, enjoyable and not annoying. Each character has its own skills and can learn and develop into a different job with unique traits. Just as an example, one of the characters has 4 arms, so a typical one-handed or two-handed weapons limitation doesn't apply to him. Venya of the Heartwood can become an assassin or a witch, and that's just a glimpse of what creators prepared for us. How surprised we were when playing the third scenario we discovered that we could finish it much easier and quicker if we would manage to get some useful magical items in scenario 1, but we decided to save lives than get cool items. Thankfully, that decision also paid off, but in a completely different way. We played just a demo, but if authors manage to deliver a narrative with so many branches and the moral decisions for the whole game, Agemonia can be a mind-blowing experience. Tutorial for Agemonia will be available on Diced, an app that offers amazingly scripted and interactive tutorials teaching how to play specific board games. For now, they published only the teaser for Agemonia, but you can check other games, for example, Blood Rage. Honestly, we didn't see any noticeable cons, but you must remember that we played only 3 scenarios with a prototype of the game. If the authors manage to keep this high level of gameplay that they showed us in the prototype, this title will be a masterpiece. Saying this, we do not want to score Agemonia at this point, but 9 scratches and higher, together with our Mark of the Beast, seems very likely. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video.